Hello and welcome to Front Row Racing. It's Thursday night, which means it's time for the Front Row Racing World Series Round 12 at Monza in Italy. At the Autodromo Nazionale Monza, where the first Grand Prix was hosted in 1950, and today's race is going to be 27 laps long. The circuit is 5.7 kilometres long. And Rubens Barrichello, of all people, holds the current official Formula 1 lap record around here with a 1:21.046 from 2004. A little bit of information for you there, folks. Now, I'm from Row Racing DP, otherwise known as Dave Lays in Beds. I'll be doing commentary this evening, and I'm joined by my... I was going to call you friend, but I thought I'd go with pesky sidekick this week from Row Racing RI. How are you this evening, Ray?
I'm very well.
Good.
Looking forward to this. Hopefully a good race.
Well, I know we are both hoping that it's a good race. I mean, one of the things that we discussed before we came live on air was that we hope that majority of the World Series drivers watch the World Championship race from yesterday and will take turn one a lot more cautiously. Okay, we've got a few minutes before we send the drivers over to the racetrack. So I'm going to have a quick flash through the official result from the previous round 11 in Belgium. Hindle took victory there with his teammate Hybrid Nuke in second place. Dave the Harp finished third, with Ant69 getting his best ever result in fourth. Rickster finished fifth, K-Slay sixth, From Row Racing GP seventh, From Row Racing NW was the first of the DNFs, or the last of the DNFs I should say, and Acorn 95 and Charlie, both of those guys were disqualified in the race on the day, and then Richie Davey and his reserve driver or reserve teammate of Azamor were both disqualified, one for no race footage, one for corrupted race footage. So I would quickly, vital for the drivers to make sure that their footage is good and is there. It is an entry requirement to record your race footage. Driver of the day went to Ant69, with clearly his best race of the season, best result of the season, and a race he should be proud of and take confidence from for future events. Team of the day went to Victoria's Secret Williams Racing. That's Hindle and Hybrid Nuke. They were dominant in that race, taking the 1-2 victory. It's going to take some hard work from the rest of the field to slow these drivers down, although they did slow each other down a little bit in that race. And we could see quite a bit of a rivalry build between those two drivers. On to the constructors' standings. The Drivers' Championship, getting ahead of myself. So Hindle leading the way on 206 points, Hybrid Nuke in second place on 198. Then we've got a bit of a gap down to third place from Row Racing GP on 114. Dave the Harp in fourth place on 96 points. Rickster in fifth on 77, and then we've got K-Slay on 66. Acorn 95, he's got 51 points, and then we've got Richie Davey on 42, Adam 4600 on 33, Ant 69 on 31, Andy Russell on 18, Charlie on 13, Farfborough on 9, From Row Racing NW on 1. In the constructors' standings, we do have Victoria's Secret Williams Racing on 404 points. In second place is Killer Acorn Mercedes, that's Dave the Harp and Acorn 95. They've got 202 points, so half the amount. In third place, we've got Midlands Madness Ferrari, that's From Row Racing GP and K-Slay. They're on 188 points. And then we've got McCharles McLaren Honda on 110 points. Their drivers Rickster and Charlie. In fifth place, we have Underdog Racing Red Bull. Their drivers Ant69 and Adam 4600, who may be a little late getting to us. And the Underdog Racing Red Bull team are on 64 points. If I didn't previously mention it, McCharles McLaren Honda are on 110. In sixth place, we have Godolphin Sauber on 60 points, and that's Azamor in as a reserve driver for Richie Davey today, and Andy Russell returning to the racetrack. In seventh place, we have Nightfall Man and Marusha on 46 points, and their drivers Front Row Racing NW and Farfborough. Okay, Ray, how are we doing for time? Or have I got through that quite quick?
Yeah, we're at 1929.
I was going to say it must be, because I can hear the sound of soaps in the background. Coronation Street, I think it might be, but don't worry about it.
Half past.
It is. It's 7:30 on a Thursday. Corrie's on.
I'll tell the missus.
Don't worry, Ray. She's done enough. She's done enough already. I'm sure the viewers won't mind catching up with what's happening on Corrie. Okay. We will send the drivers over to the racetrack in a moment. I was going to do the question of the day at this point, but I want to make sure that Ray hears it. It's here. Okay, so today's question of the day. Last week's was a little bit of a brain teaser. This week's is very, very similar. So as we send the drivers over to the racetrack then, in a moment's time, here's your question of the day. You've got 2 coins, right? You've got 2 20p pieces, one in each hand. You flick them both up at the same time. What are the odds of them both landing on heads? So that's your question of the day to the viewers, and I'll pop that question in a little later on as well. And Ray's now sat there going, I was hoping it wasn't maths, and it bloody is. So sorry, Ray, but it's not as complex as last week. But yeah, there's your question of the day. 2 coins, flick them both up in the air, catch them at the same time. What's the chances of them both being on heads? What's the odds? Okay, it's time then for the Front Row Racing World Series round 12 at Monza in Italy. This is one of the classic racetracks on the calendar. We all know the corners around here, but I will go through them. Turn 1 and 2, the Rettifilo chicane, Curva Grande, then the Della Roggia chicane, Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2, and then we're on to the Parabolica. What the drivers want to know, though, is it going to be dry? We've got beautiful sunshine and not a cloud in the sky. Are you pleased about that, Ray? Or would you have liked to have seen a little dabble of moisture around this track?
Oh, it says showers.
It does. It does. It does say showers. So cloudy with possible showers after a dry start. That'll get some of the drivers' attention. Now, before we really get going here, I've got to say, Ray, we've got a special guest with us this evening.
Yeah.
We have. We've got a special guest. So you were right, it is the squirrel. We've come back to Monza and the squirrel is back with us. It's where he made his first appearance last season, so hello Mr. Squirrel, nice to see you. So, are you pleased that the squirrel's back, Ray?
No, because I've got peanuts here, and if it starts nicking them, I'll kill them.
I tell you what, I think you'll be safe, you know, because I reckon there might be a little bit of a man crush going on. And you're thinking, really? Could there be?
Oh, is he get his eye off?
I sang the song. Well, because I've missed you so much, me and my friends have got together and made a band, and there's a really special song that I would like to sing for you, if that's okay. Dave, tell him, it's okay.
So, it sounds like the squirrel's been missing you, Ray, and he wants to sing you a song.
I thought it was you he was missing.
No, it's you he's been missing. It's you he's been missing. He wants to sing you a song. Him and his mates have got together, formed a bit of a band. So, shall we have a listen?
I'm too scared to.
So there we go, a beautiful song sung by the squirrel, and if you don't get the connection, it's chasing cars. So anyway, there you go. So that's past a few minutes.
I'm getting a restriction order in him.
I tell you what, that's got me all emotional, you know, Ray. It's got me all feeling all lovey-dovey and emotional. The squirrel is showing you some love. I tell you what, though, that squirrel is talented when it comes to singing songs. Fair play to him. Okay, I tell you what, I reckon we'll send the squirrel down to the pit lane for the rest of the event, and we'll focus a little bit more on some serious stuff. I couldn't resist. So for any of the viewers that have no idea what any of that was about, I tell you what, go and watch last season's World Series race, because even now when I watch it, it has me in creases. Okay, on to the drivers then, and the Flora Racing World Series Round 12 in Monza. Information from practice in the World Championship races that a possible qualifying lap of a 19.0 could be done, with sector times of a 27.1, a 26.7 and a 25.3. So they're the kind of sector times that could be possible, but with the FIA strict ruling, could be a little bit difficult. Now I'm watching from a Racing NW going around the circuit now. He's on a set of prime tyres. And when we caught up with the drivers in the press briefing earlier on today, from a Racing NW kept his comments short and sweet. Okay, I've not done a single lap of practice, have no setup, so yeah, I'm just going to go for it. And fair play to him. He's currently sat in second place on a set of prime tyres. So let's see who else. We've seen Hybrid Nuke, he's already put in the fastest lap of the session with a 20.7, but I think we should be looking at possibly 20.0s or a little bit higher.
Yeah, I was just going to say, while the squirrel was singing, that's what happened. Yeah,
well, Acorn 95, he's just improved on his first sector with a 27.8, and when we in the press briefing earlier today, I think his comment was perhaps a little bit sarcastic. It was quite short and sweet again. It was, yeah, I love the new FIA corner cutting strict ruling, which is sarcastic because he was disqualified from Spa for corner cutting ruling. Very unfortunate for him, but hopefully he's had a bit of practice around here, can keep it between the lines, avoid those warnings and penalties, and have a race that we know he's capable of. He's just gone and popped it in second place. Let's see who else we've got out on track. K-Slade just returning to the pits. Andy Russell about to go through Sector 1. And Andy Russell, he's shunned us again in the press briefings. He's becoming a bit of a sort of a ghost, really, in the press room. Sits in the corner, doesn't really say anything. So just looks at his phone, messaging people. I don't know who it is, but yeah, not a lot to say from Andy, but I think he's had his lap invalidated, which is unfortunate for him. Rickster, he's been through Sector 1. Yeah, I was going to say, I think his has been invalidated. But what did Rickster have to say when we caught up with him earlier on today, Ray?
He says, feeling good at this one, don't want to jinx myself. Well, we've just done it for your quali lap.
Yep.
But I had good pace compared to hybrid in practice, so we'll see. Interesting.
So through the practice sessions, he feels he had a very good pace compared to Hybrid Nuke, so hoping to take a bit of a battle to them, and he's making his way into the pit lane. This is something that the World Championship commentary team mentioned yesterday, that ideally the drivers are better off fueling for 2 flying laps. The second flying lap is the quicker one because tyres take a while to warm up around here. Dave Hart's been through Sector 1, he's done a 27.5, he's going through the second Lesmo now, so as he makes his way up to the Ascari chicane, why don't you let us know, Ray, what Dave Harp had to say when we caught up with him earlier on today.
Yeah, although I just found his note. If I can keep out of trouble, I'm hoping for another podium. Hopefully there's not much trouble.
No, true. He's just had a lap invalidated, I think, but yeah, I mean, quite a few of the drivers are hoping to avoid any dramas at the first the first lap. But I tell you what, we've got something a little unusual going on here. Front Row Racing GP on a dry track is running a set of intermediate tyres. Now I tell you what, I reckon for his comments we hand over to the Squirrel down in the pit lane. We'll go over to him in a moment's time, because it's a little bit baffling, this. I mean, why would you be running a set of intermediate tyres on a dry track? So Mr. Squirrel, down to you in the pit lane.
I love the green stripes on the Inters, and the pattern on them is lovely, like waves at the seaside. And I hope they take me from start to finish, as I don't want to pit here, as I always mess the Peters.
Okay, so GP's comments then, if you didn't quite catch that, appear to be that he likes the look of the intermediate tyre with its green stripe and wavy tread lines that remind him of the seaside, and he's thinking about taking the tyres all the way through the race because he doesn't want to make a pit stop because he messes up the pit entry. Well, yeah, I know he said it in some rather unusual pre-race comments, but this one is beyond anything I think we've ever experienced. Sector 1 time though of a 29 point. Yeah, I think we need to take him to see a doctor. A Sector 1 time though of a 29.1 actually wasn't too bad, but yeah, I wonder what he is up to. Rickster, he's on another flying lap. No, he's not. It says he's on an out lap now. Hindle's gone and popped himself in second place. He's on another flying lap. No, he's not. Sector 1 is a 30.9. Sector 2 is a 29.2. I've got a feeling he will be heading into the pits. Hindle's comments, though, when we caught up with him earlier, Monza layout means all cars will be bunched up. Expecting a tough race. Turn 1 is a disaster waiting to happen. And Hindle is into the pits. So let's see who else. Have we got anybody else on a flying lap?
Russell is just about to start one.
Okay, Andy Russell's about to start a flying lap, so we'll follow him through his lap and we'll go through the corner numbers and a bit of a lap guide here. Into turn 1, the Rettifilo chicane. A difficult braking zone, braking around about the 145 metre mark. So much time can be gained or lost through that corner. Now absolutely flat out around the Curva Grande, trying to keep the steering as smooth as possible. The twitchier you are, the more speed you lose. Now we're into the Della Roggia chicane. It's an interesting one, this. Slow it down early, then power through the chicane rather than slow down through it. Now we're into the Lesmos. Be confident, turn it in, get on the power. You can't make the apex though, it's going to push him a little bit wide, manages to keep on the track. Lesmo 2, it's the same as Lesmo 1. Turn it in early and on the power, control the rear end, open the DRS. Now we go down the hill under the old oval banked racetrack and then into the Ascari chicane. All about confidence and grip through here, and Andy's got the grip, lacking perhaps a little bit of confidence. Now we're absolutely flat out down towards the final corner, the Parabolica. I think he's had his lap invalidated there, which he'll be a little bit frustrated about. I mean, one of the things I will say is sometimes what we see visually on our screen is not exactly the same as what the drivers see visually on their screen, so if they look like they're not off the track, they might actually be on their own view. He's currently 11th place.
He gave Rickster slipstream, and Rickster's just went first with a 120.726.
You're right, we missed that. Well, you didn't, I did. Right behind Asamoah on that lap was Rickster, who's just popped in pole position time with a 27.5, a 27.4 and a 25.7. Not a bad lap, that. Lap time of a 20.7. That should really be coming down by a good half of a second before the end of this session. From a Racing GP, still out there on his intermediate tyres. I think someone needs to have a word with him to tell him that it is not raining out there. Hybrid Nuke, he is on an out lap. Hindle is in the garage. So Hybrid Nuke is just leaving the pit lane now. Dave the Harp, he is also just leaving the pit lane. Ant 69, he's on a timed lap coming around the Parabolica. And what did Ant have to say when we caught up with him, Ray, as he now makes his way into the pits?
Ant said, I'm nearly 2 seconds slower than yesterday, so start at the back and hopefully I can do what I know I can. So interesting thoughts from Ant 69 there. And lacking a bit of pace today compared to yesterday, so he'll be hoping that he can
start further down the grid, fresher tyres, make the most of anybody having any collisions, and really try and make gains in the race. Now, Hybrid Nuke, as he is building up to on his out another flying lap here, when I had a word with him earlier today, his comments were quite interesting, quite surprising as well, actually. He said he's not feeling very confident today. Insomnia has hit him in the past 2 nights, and he's been given penalties in every practice session so far. And last season he got on a curb and spun, so that's going to be in his mind. But he then added, he's just had 3 cans of Red Bull and now he's vibrating. So he's a little bit more awake after the 3 cans of Red Bull. So let's see how he gets on with his flying lap.
To put that 6 toy away.
Yeah, well, we won't comment on that one. It's still quite early in the day. But yeah, I mean, I must admit, I don't like Red Bull drinks. They're horrible, and they have bull fluids in them, which, yeah, I don't fancy drinking those, thank you very much. Sector 1 time for Hybrid Nuke, a 27.4. Ray, if you want to keep an eye on the likes of Rickster and Hindle to see if they are on a flying lap, and perhaps even Dave the Harp or Caseley, because Caseley has been fairly quick in practice. Hybrid Nuke, though, I think he's just had his lap invalidated. He has. That'll be turn the engine down, see if you've got enough fuel for another flying lap. So Hindle then, currently sat in 3rd place, coming around the Parabolica. Get that power down. How you approach that corner leading onto your flying lap can have a massive effect of what speed you get to down this straight. At the moment he's in 3rd place, and you can see sector times there until he goes through sector 1. You notice he's braking a lot later, about 120 metres. Could be a few reasons for that. One of them I do know, you can brake a lot more aggressively on a controller. So, round the curve of Grandi, into the 2nd chicane, the Della Roggia chicane. We'll see how he gets on through there. It's a nice sector time, a 27.3, sector 1. That's looking good. Now time for the Lesmos, nicely into the apex of the corner. Allows to get on the power. Taking quite a wide entry into the 2nd one. And again, allowing him to get on the power. DRS now open. We're looking for a sector time of somewhere low 27s ideally here. 27.2, that's good. We could be looking at about a 120.4 on this particular lap. It'll all depend on how quick his Ascari chicane was and how quick he'll get through the Parabolica. You can lose everything on this final corner by taking too much speed in. Rickster's session is over. So Hindle then heading up to the start-finish line. This could be a new pole position lap time. It is. It's a 20.5, and I don't think Hybrid Nuke's got enough time. He hasn't got enough time to get out and back in again, but he has got enough time to start another flying lap if he has the fuel to do so. Ray, have we got anybody else on a flyer? No, Hybrid Nuke, he is going for another lap, or he's going to complete this one. It's only a 21.0, so he is going to... No, he's backed out. He hasn't got the fuel to do it. Dave the Harp.
Brickster improved this time, but Hindle still had a faster lap time.
Okay, Dave the Harp, his lap is over. Acorn 95, his session is over. From a Racing NW, he's currently in 6th place. He's now on the option tyre. He may actually get another lap in as well. Let's just see if Hindle or Hybrid Nuke are going any quicker on, or Hindle's going any quicker. He's done another 27.3, another 27.2. He could back out of this lap now, I reckon, and just take it to the pits and save the fuel. And in 10 seconds time we're going to get moved away from the pit lane up to the commentary box as Farfbuz's session is now over. Hindle is going to complete the lap. It's a 20.1, so he does improve in that final sector, but to be honest he probably could have got away with not actually putting that lap time in, but maybe he wanted to do it to put a mental effect on his competitors. But from a Racing NW at the moment, he's going to be starting in 6th place. Now I do know a few of the drivers around this track are not keen on starting further up the grid because of what can happen in turn 1. So it's possible that quite a few of them have decided, you know what, I'm going to start at the back. problem is, they all can't start at the back. Now, I saw that Adam 4600 has joined us. He's not going to be able to pick himself a setup, but his comments when I caught up with him earlier on today, he's done very little practice due to life being in the way. I'd like some points today. Also, I may be late joining. If I'm not on at the usual time, go ahead and I'll jump in and start from the back. So that is what Adam 4600 will be doing. Charlie JB, his comments, not expecting much. Starting at the back, doing no assists apart from corner racing line, so don't want to ruin anyone's race. I'm practicing for next season. So Charlie is already looking at the future rather than what is going to be happening here today. Then the only other person two people's comments who I didn't catch up with were K Slay, said his pace isn't bad, just a case of putting it together. And Azamort 590, avoid first corner carnage like DP last night, and is glad to be on the grid. So that's all of the driver comments caught up with. So it's time for us to take a breather and get ready for the start of the race. Oh, Rickster's left the session. Rickster's session is over. Ooh. I'm not sure if he's going to have enough time to get back in or not. He would have to try very, very quickly to be able to do so. I don't think he'll have the time. He won't be able to get back in. That's going to be disastrous for Rickster then. But that puts Hindle in first place, Azamor in second, Hybrid Nuke in third, Dave the Harp in fourth, Acorn in fifth, From a Racing NW in sixth, From a Racing GP seventh, Ant69 eighth, K-Slay ninth, Charlie 10th, Andy Russell 11th, Farfba 14th. I think we lost Andy Russell. No, Sauber F1 team. I think maybe we did lose Azamor, and that's actually Rickster that should be in second place there. But it did say that Rickster joined, so he may be able to get back in and start this race. If he can't, then it's massively disappointing for him. But it is time now for the Front Row Racing World Series Round 12 in Monza. Are we going to have a dry start to the race? The drivers will hope so, and the fans will do as well. And they'll be pleased that they've got glorious sunshine beaming down on top of their heads, although they won't be happy about it warming up their beers. So, as we have a quick look at the grid order, we'll see what it shows for the drivers up at the front, and it looks like Rickster has not been able to make the start of the race, so that is massive disappointment for him. It's saying that Azamor is in second place, but he isn't unless it's gone and put Azamor in Rickster's car, which if it has would be absolutely ridiculous, to be honest.
Yeah. The joys of the F1 game.
Yes, definitely. I tell you what, if it has put Azamor in Rickster's car, we'll go for a safety car restart, because that is wrong. So we'll get ready though for the start as if it's a normal start of the race, and we'll have a look to see whether Azamor is up at the front as we get retired from the session.
I think he's pulled out to go back to his place.
It's not letting me go on him. So Hindle is...
Oh, crash.
We've got a few people retired. I'm going to call a safety car restart on this one. Because it has put Azamor in Rickster's car and put him up near the front of the grid. So I'm going to call a safety car restart on this one. So Ray, if you can have a look on the live stream and just get a confirmation of the grid order. Basically it'll be the same as what was there, other than Azamor near the back and Rickster up in second place. So to the viewers, you have to bear with us a few moments because we'll have to shut the live stream down and get it going again. If Azamor had been put back on the grid at the back of the grid, it wouldn't have been a safety car restart. But given that it put Azamor in second place on the grid in Rickster's car, it will have an effect on the lobby. So bear with us a few moments. We'll get a safety car situation underway, and we'll have the live stream back up in a few moments' time.